So a cottage license is where you can get a license to have your kitchen, your home kitchen, be your working kitchen. So, but you can only cook in most states, you can only cook certain things like cookies or cakes, and even frosting can be limiting on that because buttercream isn't always allowed because of the dairy part of it. So mostly cookies, rolls, breads, of course, people on their sourdough thing that goes on forever. Everybody and their brother's doing sourdough since the pandemic, and things like that that are not really perishable and really are not a danger to the public as far as when you're cooking.
Welcome to the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast, where passion meets profit. If you've ever dreamed of turning your love for charcuterie, or food of any kind, into a thriving online business, well then you're in the right place. We're Andrea and Patty, the Grazing Biz Sisters. With over 60 years combined experience as a chef and digital marketer, we have walked in your shoes starting our own online businesses. We'll share all of our tips, advice, struggles, and best strategies to help you launch and grow your own online foodie business with ease. The Charcuterie Launch Lab is a space for all food creators and entrepreneurs just like you. Let's dive in and get your yummy business launched online, one board at a time. Hey, it's the Charcuterie Launch Lab, girls. How are we today, Sister Andrea?
Oh, good.
Hey, guess what? We almost did this podcast together in the same room because you were here yesterday. I
Yeah,
wanted to
we were
take a
together
picture.
yesterday.
Yeah, I wanted to take a picture to prove that we actually are sisters and we do get together occasionally, but oh well, it didn't happen. Why were you here? Oh, that's right.
Because it was down. We were visiting with friends from
You spent the
Chicago,
night, I
and I did
forgot.
spend the night, and then I woke up in the morning and it was like, it's freaking hot down here. I'm going
You're
home.
going home, I don't blame you.
For those that don't know, Patty lives in the Phoenix area. I live in the northern Arizona area,
Yeah.
and it's just too hot down
Yeah,
there.
it's not
So,
good. Well, we're going to roll on this because the name of this podcast that I've decided is going to be 30 on 30. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through 30 things you need to know about starting a cottage food business. And granted, I know those who have been here for charcuterie may not be able to do cottage food. There are some states and laws that are starting to change across the country, and Arizona was one of them, for those of you who don't know, that allow us to sell perishable food from home as part of the cottage law. But
mhm.
that said, and Andrew's brought this up a couple times, that we are also going to really try to help others in the cottage food industry, partly because guess who just got her cottage food license? Me! Yeah, my wrist is hurting, by the way,
I
so
did
it's,
it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have I have a wrist thing on. Everybody asks me what's going on with my wrist. Anyway, me. So I just got it, and I've been busy trying to figure out how to pipe flowers out of buttercream, and I've had 3 failures so
I
far.
know, it's too sad, but
Yeah,
we
it's
won't mention that.
so what we're going to do today is we're going to go through 30 things in 30 minutes, and we're going to be off in 30 minutes, hopefully, on what you should know about starting or doing a cottage food business. And so I've got the list. Andrew's going to comment as we're going along here. So I have something to refer to, and I'm not just spewing this stuff out
Well,
my
I guess
butt.
I know you don't, I know we're not supposed to interrupt, but the reality is, first, let's talk about what a cottage food license is. I don't know those that are doing charcuterie or whatever they're doing, there's all different kinds of licenses out there. And I guess we should specify what that is.
Go for it. You're the
Okay.
you're the you're the girl on that. So
Yeah, so a cottage license is where you can get a license to have your kitchen, your home kitchen, be your working kitchen. So, but you can only cook in most states, you can only cook certain things like cookies or cakes, and even frosting can be limiting on that because buttercream isn't always allowed because of the dairy part of it. So mostly cookies, rolls, breads, of course, people on their sourdough thing that goes on forever. Everybody and their brother's doing sourdough since the pandemic, and things like that that are not really perishable and really are not a danger to the public as far as when you're cooking.
right.
So it would eliminate things like our cheese and our meats from our charcuterie boards.
Okay. Well, you have a list with you. When we get to the number, I'm going to have you run it down. We're not going to ramble on. You're just going to run down some state, obviously,
It
well,
changes.
it's going to
Check your
change. It'll
laws. Yeah.
change wherever you're at. So, all right, let me get organized here. I'm going to make sure that I'm organized. Hold on. I got to make sure I got all my windows open here. All right. So, are you ready to get started? Here we
All right.
go. We're going to start
Do
running
it.
it down. You add your 2 cents. Don't make it longer than 15 to 20 seconds. Here we go.
Yeah.
Number one, every state has different cottage food laws. So Andrew was just talking about that. What can you say about the every state? And we are, wherever you're at, I don't care, because we have people in here from other countries. Everywhere has different laws. And
Yeah.
so tell us about that really quick.
Well, so the important thing obviously is to check your laws. You want to make sure that you're falling in those categories and labeling things correctly.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, we're going to get to that. So,
okay.
the thing about that is that they're flexible. Some areas are more flexible like us, others are more strict. So you have to know what your laws are. All right, number two, permitted foods are limited. Give us a quick list of what kind of foods we might be looking at.
Okay, so breads, muffins, cookies, granola, trail mix, dry soup mixes, which is what I make, dry spice blends, which is what I make, candies and fudge, sometimes coffee, tea, or cocoa mixes, like when you do those little cocoa bomb things.
Ooh.
Jams and jellies, be careful about those. They're not always allowed. They've kind of fallen in the semi-perishable area. So those are the main things right there. So I would stick with breads, muffins, and cookies are,
Most of the, yeah. Now, of course, in Arizona, you can cook just about anything as long as there's not alcohol or marijuana in it for the
yeah.
most part. Yeah. So, again, if you're in another state, some counties also have restrictions. So, you might be different in the county versus the state. So, make sure
Hmm.
that you're checking on that. All right. Number three, health department considerations. What do we need to do this in most cases?
Well, number one, you need a food handler's card. So if
Okay.
you apply for your cottage license online, most counties will let you do it online. If they don't do it, you got to go to the office. But in any case, you will need a food handler's card, which is a simple, usually 1 hour online
Online. Yeah, and given I just
thing.
did mine, I did mine. It took maybe about an hour, hour and a half
Yeah.
because I did
Yeah.
not want to have to not pass. They give
She
you
didn't want a big fail.
you don't want to fail the test. You can go back and do it again, but who wants to do that? All right, here's some places you can go to do that online. Safe Check Advanced Food Safety Certification. In Canada, it's called foodsafety.ca. ProSafe training is one. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, these were in Canada. In the United States, Serve Safe Food Handler, State Food Safety, 360 training, e-food handlers. I think I paid like
Yeah.
$7.99.
Yeah.
If, by the way, you're getting, it depends on where you're at, but somebody locally was like, oh my God, I got to hang this thing up I got to hang it up and I got to do this and that and I got to have my kitchen this and that. Well, you got to check to make sure what the requirements are, but some of it was crap. It wasn't
Yeah.
true because
Hmm.
there are companies out there trying to scam you and you can just go do this yourself. Go straight, don't hire somebody to do this. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not, yeah, just make sure you're tapping into maybe one of those. Okay. All right, number four, you may need a business license. That's up to you, right? If you want, you can go get a business license. So
Hmm.
that would mean, and again, that would be for filing tax purposes, which will be part of the EIN. If you want to go do stuff like that, you want to get really official with this, getting a tax license to do business in your state would be a good idea. In Arizona, they have this thing called the TPT, which is the Transaction Privilege Tax. But what the difference here is that the sellers of cottage food actually get charged a
Hmm.
tax versus the buyers of the cottage food, which you could charge taxes to if you choose to. So
Hmm.
you need to know what is required if you want to go that route and get official doing this, which if you're going to get serious about this, then Jesus, you need to do these things, right? If you really want to,
Hmm.
right? All right, number five. Well, we just talked about it. Some states require food handlers permits or safety training. Let's throw the kitchen requirements into this one. What do we know about, at least in Arizona, what do we have to worry about in our kitchens?
I don't recall anything necessary. There was no limitation. The one thing they will watch for is that it's an actual home address, residential address, because they don't want any restaurants or caterers
Right.
trying to fly under the radar.
Right. And I
So,
believe in Arizona, and this might be the same in other states, their size of your kitchen is
right,
limited because they don't want it getting too large for that exact reason.
right, right.
Now, are they coming to our houses and examining our kitchens? Most likely not. They don't have the
Mhm.
manpower in most of our states, I would imagine, to do that. But do you
Okay.
have to worry about it? Maybe, yeah. So you have to have a clean, safe kitchen, right? With
Mhm.
all of
Yeah,
whatever
I
it is
mean,
you
just,
need.
common sense is you want to keep a nice, clean kitchen. You don't want to be serving up bread with cat hair in it or something. So
Exactly.
everything has to be, as clean as you can possibly keep it.
Right.
Scares me, but
Well,
that
you'll
people
learn a
probably
lot in
don't.
your health training because
Yeah.
they do go, and I know because I just did this. They
Mhm.
talk about how to store the food in your refrigerator and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
and in the cupboards and whatnot. All right, number six, zoning laws matter. Some areas restrict home-based businesses, and that might also include your homeowners association. So just heads up on that. You got to know, be careful, especially if you're going to have people driving in and out to pick up things from your neighborhood.
Mhm.
Be careful because your neighbors might be your biggest, people to turn you in because they don't want all that traffic in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
So heads up on that. Number seven, sales limits could exist. Let's talk about that. In Arizona, there isn't one, but there might be in other
Right.
states.
I would venture to say that they're going to come up with sales limits eventually. And the reason they do that is, again, to prevent those bigger businesses from flying under the radar under the cottage law. Trying to do a bakery that's selling, $100,000 a year in bread is just, it's not, they don't want that. They want you to go get your own commercial kitchen and stuff.
You're going to be a
So,
bakery type of
right. They
like
don't want
that.
anybody running restaurants. They don't want any
Yeah.
massive catering productions. This is meant for small home-based
Yeah.
businesses.
That's not to say you can't make a hundred thousand
No, it
dollars, you
doesn't.
guys.
Right. I'm
So
not saying that.
yeah,
What I meant
yeah,
is, so they just don't want you running on the scale of a big
right.
operation.
Exactly. Number eight, labeling is required. Let's talk about the labeling requirements. And I see this a lot in the groups where the
Mhm.
people are like, how do I get I'm concerned about my labeling. Tell us about how you label, Andrea, and what are
Well,
requirements mostly?
But the requirements are you have to put every single item that's on your in your product in on your label.
Yeah.
It's very simple. All of my stuff are natural ingredients. I don't have any preservatives or additives, so it's easy for me. One thing they did add, which I noticed a lot of the local Arizona laws and labeling, people are all up in an uproar. So let's say you decide to make like a Snickers bread or something like that, or Snickers, some kind of
Oh,
dessert, Snickers in it.
okay.
So you have to list the product label with the Snickers ingredients on top of, or Oreos if you're doing cookies and cream, those kinds of things. They want you to be listing now, which
Okay.
I don't know, seems silly, but
Whatever is in that candy
whatever's
bar.
in that particular item. So, it's up to you if you want to add it. Most people don't care, but that is part of the requirements now with our new laws.
Okay. How do you label? How do you make the labels? Because that seems to be a big question.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I see it all over the place.
So I bought 2x3 labels specifically because they were the biggest ones that fit the product, the thing that I'm making, which is dry soups, is my biggest seller. And so it fits perfectly on there. And it's a 2x3 label. I went into Canva, I made it, had to test it a few times to get it to where you could read it. I wanted
Yeah.
it, not so small that you couldn't read it. But I see a lot of people doing like round labels or whatever it is they're doing, and you can just squeeze it all in on there as long as you can read it. Now, there is usually a specific wording you have to use telling people that this is, and the individual college laws will telling you that it's a home-based business, and it's not, there's
Right.
chance of allergies and things like that.
Correct.
It's
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's made
So example
basically.
might be made in-home kitchen, not subject to state inspection, something along
Right.
those lines, right?
Exactly.
By the
Exactly.
way, I don't know if this is going to come up here because I didn't read to the very bottom of my list, honestly, but possible you have to do that in all of your marketing online as well. So just be aware of
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
number nine, insurance is highly recommended. Although
Hmm.
nobody is babysitting you on it, do you want to get sued? And in
Right.
the event you make someone sick, and yes, it's possible, especially now that we can do perishable food, we
Right.
got to,
Right.
in our state, you got to be careful. But even if you're not, you're baking, that things could happen, you know.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. And
homeowners and yeah,
I'm sorry. I have a very easy insurance. It's 24.99 a month. It covers, I don't know, something like $2 million of damages. So it's very cheap. It's doesn't cost much, and it's through Flip. Don't ask me
yeah,
what that means. But if you look up Flip food insurance, it's food liability something
insurance
something
program.
something.
Yeah. By the
Yeah.
way, I'll
So
give you some others. Flip, Insurance Canopy, I see. It's a partnership with Flip. The
okay.
Hartford, which I actually had with my own marketing business online, I use the Hartford, but they also offer home bakery insurance. Another one called Next Insurance, Craft Cover, Insurion. And I'm going to tell you, we haven't looked into all of these, so I'm just rolling out a
Yeah.
list here, okay? So, anyway, go do your research, but it's not that expensive to get the coverage. So, I
Yeah.
recommend you do it. It's not like, maybe I'll do it. You
Safe
really
than
should do it.
sorry. You don't want to lose your house over the whole thing. So
Hello. Yeah, exactly. Number 10, taxes still apply. Now, we kind of talked about that. So, if you're going to do this legitimately, when you file your taxes, you've got to claim the revenue. So, just be aware that I would get, at least QuickBooks together if you don't want to hire a CPA or bookkeeper. You may
yeah.
not need to do all that, but definitely
Yeah.
track it. Your billing, your software takes credit cards and all that stuff will be able to help you. Our CRM system will track sales. So you just got to be able to track your sales. Okay. All right. Number 11, you mentioned this already. You must use your primary residence kitchen. So you can't be doing like go out and commercial kitchen. You can't use a mobile vehicle because that's not cottage, right? There's going to be different rules and requirements for mobile vehicles. And believe it or not, even for your charcuterie
I think
cart,
Patty means by that like a food truck,
food
or a food
truck, right?
trailer.
Yeah.
So those are not falling under the cottage license, peeps.
No. And neither is if you go out to a market and you're creating food out at an outdoor market.
Right.
You bring a burner and you start cooking. That is not part of the cottage law.
Right.
I'm going to say in most states, I'm going to assume it is because there you got to get permits and things for those kind of things, which we're not talking about today, but I'm just giving you a heads up on that. And like I said, your charcuterie cart's going to probably fall under different laws. It'll be probably figured out more like a mobile. I was looking at ours. Ours is based on a mobile type permitting. So there's a different permit that I have to get to be out with the cart at public events. Private events, different story, but I'm not going to go there. Okay, number 12. Cleanliness is crucial.
Yeah.
Even without inspections, you're liable if somebody gets sick, right? So let's just make sure that you're doing a good job and cleaning up before and after, right? And
Yep.
I worry about like bugs and things,
I need
cat
to like
hair.
I don't want to go down that road because we could go down there and never come back.
I know.
But just keep your kitchen clean, keep it sanitized. I have those wipes are just the best invention ever. Everything gets wiped down,
Yeah.
and then keep your hand sanitizer at your sink.
Yep. And number 13, separate food storage, often required. So, mixing ingredients in the same cupboards and the same with your family groceries, by the way.
Yeah.
I did hear something about that, if all of your food should be in its own refrigerator that is related
Hmm.
to your business.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
go look and
If
make
you can
sure
make
what's
it
available.
happen, great. If you can't, at least separate it by shelving or something. Make
Hmm.
make the best effort or follow your laws. We can't stress that enough. I have a separate fridge. I have a completely separate cupboard. All
Yeah.
of those items that I sell at markets are completely separated.
Okay, number 14, pets may be restricted in your house.
Hmm.
Uh, So check your laws. The other thing I've noticed, there were people asking about being able to sell food that you create like snacks for pets. In our state, not allowed. So you
Right.
check to make sure if that's something that you're making doggy treats, at home, make sure that's allowed. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 15, labels. This is back to the labeling. Label allergens clearly. So if there's nuts, wheat, soy, dairy, eggs, those kind of things, if it's gluten free or not gluten free, I don't know if that's required, but, I know you do a lot of gluten free type stuff, or,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you like to tell them it's gluten free.
I have it on the packaging.
Yeah,
So
but you got to be careful because you could, not saying you in general, but people in general, because you still could contaminate people
for sure.
with
Yeah.
things
If you
that you
have
think.
Right. If you have flour or just pancake mix floating around your kitchen, but that
Yeah,
disclaimer that they want you to put on there covers you from that anyways.
right.
You can say it's a gluten-free product, but that doesn't mean it was produced in a gluten-free kitchen.
Okay. Number 16, keep detailed recipes and process records in case of complaints or legal issues. So that's me being past paralegal for 17 years. I just track all the stuff that you're doing and have it handy in the event you need it, right? Hopefully you'll never will. In the case that you have to prove something to, defend yourself, which we hope never happens, obviously.
Yeah.
Number 17, packaging must protect food safety. So tamper-proof and professional looking. So tamper-proof, what does that mean exactly? We were just talking about packaging up my cupcakes. What does that
Right.
mean? I don't know.
So basically, they're gonna, at least in Arizona, I know we keep referring to that only because that's what I'm most familiar with. In
Sure.
Arizona, they do require you to put, if you're gonna package something up like muffins or something and you put it in your box, you need to put a sticker on it showing that it's been closed and, so it'll be just a little sticker like you would get anywhere else.
Yeah, depending.
So it's enclosed. And in my case, I have a little heat sealing device that seals up my dry soup mixes and my spices because they both go into plastic little baggies.
Yeah.
So you want to try to figure out a way to do and that's how they do it. It's just tamper proof. It's not necessarily tamper proof, but it's just proving that you closed it up
Close it up.
properly and it didn't
Right.
go back open and everybody isn't sneezing and
Yeah.
putting their hands over it.
Hands all over everything. And if you're doing bread, you're probably just putting them in a bag and
Yeah,
enclosing
and
it and
closing
with
it up.
yeah, okay, cool. 18, expiration dates may be required. I think you worried about that with your dried goods, right? Your dried soup
Yeah,
mixes.
yeah, I did worry about that. There's no, I mean, it's kind of a weird yes, no, maybe so kind of thing. In my case, because they're all dried soups and whatever, what they want is the date that you produced it. They
Okay.
don't necessarily do expiration, but I do get people asking me that when I'm at markets. So what I have told them is that the Department of Agriculture for the United States says that if you do it this way, which is what I'm doing, if you do it this way, my soups and my spice mixes are good for 2 years.
There you go.
That's what it says. So that's
Nice.
what I tell people.
Now, will it because you have chocolate in there and it melted out in the car one day? I mean,
Right.
that's told you
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I
I
mean?
learned painfully that day
I
that
know, right?
chocolate chips in the muffin mix was not a good call.
Not in here where we're
It
at.
turned into a
Uh,
big old, yeah.
blob.
Yeah.
Number 19, only sell directly to consumers in many
Right.
states. So wholesaling or selling to restaurants often is not allowed. So
Hmm.
keep that in mind as you're going out to try to find partners and things like that.
Now let
Now,
me
yeah.
throw something in there with that. If you want to go and make a space in a consignment store,
Hmm.
that's okay because you're paying rent on that space and you're paying so that's your space.
Okay.
That's like going and doing a market as long as you're keeping track of it. But the people that are running that store are not responsible for whatever it is that you're doing. You are responsible for that. So
Okay.
you
Cool.
can do it in that environment,
All right.
at least here.
So number 20, though, some states allow online sales but restrict shipping across the state lines. So you can
Right.
sell online, which is wonderful, but don't be shipping in other states from your own state because it's probably illegal. Okay.
Right.
So be careful. Number 21, farmers markets are top selling spots. So we're going to get into some marketing tips now. So again, we go back to you can't really make them while you're out there, but you can make them in your kitchen, pack them up in the nice packaging, food safety, tamper proof, and then
Mm-hmm.
bring them out there. But you may need to get a separate market vendor permit. So just be careful, make sure that you're talking to the vendors, who's ever setting that, vending event up, what requirements you might need, right? So 22, direct to consumer sales like pop-up shops, word of mouth, or pickup at your house are usually allowed. So again, I think one of the things you have to consider when you're doing this is we were just talking about this morning, actually, Andrea and I were, be prepared to deal with delivery. And yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, I'm hoping I'm only going to focus on corporate type people, what I'm selling, because I plan on just doing corporate or gifts. Gifting, I don't really
Mhm.
want to be out at events necessarily with my stuff because I'm going to have problems with, you know, keeping things from melting all over the place. So that's a problem for me in general. A good thing I have good air conditioning in
That's
my
right.
car.
That's her biggest challenge.
And it's
Yeah.
all year long around here. I even told her, I'm not going to be able to do much until November anyway, if I even do want to do anything outside down here,
Yeah.
because it was 110 last
Mhm.
year in October. It was bad. Anyway, number three, online advertising is fine, but you can't ship. We just said that. Why am I saying it again? Okay, let's talk about online advertising. That means you should get a website, people. Um, and so in order for people to really find you, yes, there's a lot of questions about in the groups about, what software can you use? And there's plenty out there. There's free, there's cheap, there's, better and best, which is us. We cater to you people to get a
Mhm.
website, right? And I know Andrea's, I let Andrea know it's like we offer building your website for free. Do you have to get it hosted? Yes, but we'll build your site for free if you want it.
Yeah, but the
And
hosting is so cheap, guys.
it
It's
is.
so
If
cheap.
you
It's
guys reach
ridiculous.
out to us, we'll
I
help you
have
with
like
all of
three
this.
websites and I think I paid $15 for each one for a year. So it's nothing. Drop.
Well, we're talking about us.
But
We're
I'm
talking.
talking, yeah, I'm talking about just getting it hosted, like getting
Oh,
it, the
hosting.
domain
Well,
itself. Yeah.
getting a domain is one thing and then hosting it is another. So,
Right.
but if you guys are at all questioning it, get a hold of us because that's what we're here for. If you just
Yeah.
want a website, we can do that for you. Okay. You don't need all the, fancy bells and whistles, even though we have those bells and whistles
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you. Number 24, social media is your best friend. So if you're not into Instagram and Facebook right now, you're probably not going to do well because you really need to be able to market what you're doing. And those are the two best places right now. They're gold for the cottage food visibility.
Hmm.
And there's other places you can, promote, but right now you need to get pages set up and maybe set up a Facebook group too. There's a lot you can do, and we also help with that too. Number 25. What about photographs? Tell us about that, Andrea. If we do we want photos of our food?
Always, always,
Always.
always, always.
What about video?
Video, if you can do it, is even better.
Hmm.
Video of yourself making the product, just to, for them to see that you're actually doing it. You're not buying it and throwing it in a box, which I'm sure there's people out there that do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
But you want to have as many pictures as you can.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we can touch on real quick is the AI thing. If you decide to use AI, your best bet is, and I learned this kind of hard the last couple of months because I've been working on some other products and I didn't exactly have samples of them yet. But I went and did AI pictures of them, and then people called me out on it. And then what I did was I just went and said, these are AI generated. They're samples of what you're going to get. And I don't
Hmm.
think there's anything wrong with that because this is the way of the world,
Yeah, it
y'all.
is.
This
Yeah.
is it. I
Yeah.
mean,
As long as
skate.
you disclaim it, I think
Yeah, as
it's
long as you
fine.
disclaim it. And then I
Right.
just told people it's going to be better than what you see here. How about
Right.
that?
Right. All right. We got 3 minutes to get through the last five. Number 25. I'm sorry. Actually, number 26. Sampling rules vary. So you may or may not be able to give out free samples at events. So just be aware of that. Make sure you
Right.
know in your area where you're at what you're allowed to do. Even though I love the idea, just got to be careful on that, right? Number 27, naming your business. Yay, we all want to have a nice name. So how do you get your name? Well, you can just think it off the top of your head. You can go to AI and come up, just go in there. I sell these kind of products. This is my name. This is the feel I'm trying to go for. Can you give me some ideas for names? I usually will start there and start with the domain ideas, but those domains aren't always available. So you
Mhm.
can go in and actually get like uh, versions of that domain, don't make it too long. And I can tell you, we've experienced this over the last week with some website people that we have been building websites for. They went out and got their domain and they thought they had to put in, my beautiful charcuterie boards in Arizona LLC. You do not need to make it that long when you are getting a domain. Sure, you can make your name that, your business name that, but the whole world doesn't need to see your LLC until it
Mm.
becomes important. So when you're getting a domain, keep it nice and short because you're going to be needing to use it in your email address as well. Because that's the way you send things actually these days. In order to do this professionally, you've got to get a domain-based email. Okay, so just be careful while you're naming it. But yay, that's so fun naming it. I've been thinking about it. Here's one: Patty Cupcakes.
That's pretty basic.
Oh, Patty Cupcakes. If I'm going to do
Check to
cupcakes.
see if that's even available. I'm sure some.
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, is it?
Especially the way I spell my name, right? Anyway, that's one. Patty Cupcakes, get it? Patty Cakes, Patty Cupcakes. Anyway, that's what I
Oh
came up
no,
with.
I didn't get that.
Don't
Okay, whatever.
steal this, people. All right, you didn't get that? Oh, shoot.
No,
Okay.
I didn't at first.
Yeah.
No.
Number 28, build repeat buyers with subscriptions. I love this idea where you can create a subscription type to get people to come back. And maybe once a month they pay and they keep paying, and every month you deliver, right? Or whatever. Bread of the month, cookies of the month, cupcakes of the month, whatever it is. Love this idea. So, number 29, customer service and follow up are key. All right. So, the follow up, which can be automated quite a bit, and getting reviews is going to be really, really key for you. Get your business on Google My Business, and you can go set up a free version. I was actually online this morning looking at a YouTube channel about setting up your Google My Business account. And you can do it for free and you start getting reviews, which our business actually provides tools to do this automatically to get reviews. You get those reviews put on your site. Reviews will get you up the ranks of Google pretty quickly. Most cottage foods vendors are not doing this, so it's not going to take much for you to do this. And you want to show up on the map when somebody's looking for homemade anything, right? Whatever you're making. So you show up on the map and you get up there, and then when people run a search, they're going to see you up at the top, and that's what you want. So
Yeah.
go check it out. Get on there. Any feedback on that?
No,
Any?
none
Okay.
whatsoever. You said
Okay.
everything that needed to be said.
All right. Cool. Number 30. Da 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 da. Cottage food laws can change.
Hmm.
So you have to keep an eye on what's going on. It can be for the better in some of your instances, like it was here in Arizona. It took a couple of votes in by our state to vote it in and have the governor actually approve it, but they're happy to do it. But things may change. So what might be legal to sell today may not be tomorrow. So you do just want to make sure you stay on top of it.
And they don't tell you, FYI. They don't tell
No, they
you.
won't. You got to,
You are responsible to figure that out. You
yeah,
don't get some random email going, sorry, you can't sell cookies anymore. It doesn't work that way.
right,
You're
right.
responsible for that.
Exactly. Now, the only last thing I'm just going to throw in here is that if you are considering doing an LLC or sole proprietorship or whatever, I would consult with an attorney and understand that there is benefits to doing it, although it's not required in most instances to do that. I recommend that you talk to somebody about it because it will protect you tax-wise. It could protect you legally as well in the event you do, have some unfortunate incident.
Hmm.
But that's me again, paralegal coming out of the woodwork. But all right, we did it. I think we did it. Not
Okay.
counting all the BS at the beginning. We did 30. So if you're at all interested in learning how to start your cottage food business, get it online, and to start marketing it, we offer that. We are going to get ready to roll out templates for various different types of foods that we listed here. In Arizona, they coined it the tamale bill. So I just told my staff we need a tamale template. So we're going to get
Yeah.
a website ready for tamales too.
Yeah.
And so anything that you can sell, most of you are doing baked goods. So if you're at all doing it, now here's the thing: if you're in the charcuterie business, your business probably doesn't fall under under the cottage law like ours
Right.
does. That doesn't stop you from going out and getting your cottage license, though. Because if you're
No,
into this, man, go get it. That's
you can make bread and cookies and other things to go with your charcuterie stuff and put it in your carts. I
right.
mean, it's okay to do that. I did that and I just labeled everything and brought it with us to, to the shows that we've done. So it's possible.
Love
It's
it.
kind of a weird thing, but yeah, it can be done.
Yeah, get a hold of us at grazingbiz.com. We have a new demo we're going to be rolling out with our new plans. And if you have any questions at all about anything, we'll set up a free discovery call with you. I have two this afternoon. It's Labor Day. People had
Yeah,
time
that's great.
off. So I
I
got
know.
two calls, one starting in an hour. So you're welcome to schedule a call with us. You can do it right there at grazingbiz.com. We'd love to see you. And all of the links you need are in the show notes down below. And we did it, 30 minutes. This is the shortest one we've done in a while. And
I know.
that's all right. It's Labor Day. It's time to stop
I
working,
know.
although I'm
It's
going to be
time to
working the rest of the day.
skedaddle and go do something fun.
Yeah, go for it. All right, love you, sister. Bye,
Okay.
everybody. Have a wonderful Labor
Bye.
Day. Bye bye.